The main objective of this practice was to use, identify, and differentiate the different methods of separation. The methods used were the centrifugation, filtration, sublimation, distillation, and a separation of a solid mixture. The centrifugation method is a process which involves the application of the centrifugal force. We could notice that with this method, with the vinylic mixture, it was not as remarkable as the other substances. The time of centrifugate is very important to have better results in the separating of this substance. The vacuum filtration is mainly used to separate solids from solvents. We use two methods of filtration, and we notice that the vacuum filtration is faster than the other. In both methods, the activated carbon is very important. The results are better if the carbon is slender or thin. We repeat every method 3 times with the soda, and we notice that the results were similar, but the activated carbon has an important factor in this method. The results from this method was that the soda has a lot of colorant, and this is important because we just have transparent liquid. The sublimation is a method of transition of a substance that passes from solid to gas phase. The important thing of this method is that it doesn't pass through the liquid phase. It's very interesting that from this method of a solid compound we got crystals. The distillation is a process and a method of separating the components of a liquid substance. From this method, it's very interesting that to get the different components of the mixture, we have to take care of the temperature of that. This method passes through the evaporation and condensation, and the interesting thing that in the practice we have to take care of the temperature between 60 and 80 degrees. From this method we got pure alcohol from a mixture of alcohol and water, and the smell of this alcohol were different because it was from Chivas Regal. In the last part of the practice we did a separation of a solid heterogeneous mixture, and what we did with this mixture was to have a similar process with the sublimation, but we take care and we notice that it just has a change of color.
So what we can conclude from the results is that the sample given to us was a sublimable compound.
We waited before and after of the method, and we have noticed that it changed. The fifth practice was about the chromatography, and the chromatography is an analytical technique used for separating mixtures from his chemical substances. The main purpose of this practice was to separate the compounds of the flavored drink and from some color. For the color chromatography, we could notice that it's very delayed, and we could finish this method.
In this practice, we made the separation of paper chromatography. The practice consisted of separating mixtures of reactants such as methyl orange, malachite green, rhodamine, and methylene blue. First, we cut 8 columns of filter paper with specific measurements so we could determine the retardant factor, which helped us to determine which reactants were used in each mixture. After that, we made a mixture of water with isopropanol and put it at the bottom of a glass. Later, we put a drop of each reactant in the columns of paper and put the paper in the glass so that just a small part of the paper touched the mixture used earlier in the glass. Then we let the mixture dilute on the paper so that it separates the color of each reactant, and then get the natural color and retardant factor. Once we had the retardant factor of each reactant, we made the same procedure with each mixture of reactant until we we get all colors separated. The results of the practice were the separation of the different mixtures and reactants, and we determined the percentage of reactant used in the mixture by measuring the retardant factor of each reactant.